Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly informational Zoom sessions. I'm so delighted that you are able to join us again. I see a lot of repeat parents who have joined us previously and are back for more. Uh, my name, again, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, is Vinita Dillon. I'm the Title IX coordinator at Cal Maritime with a couple other hats. One of them is liaising with parents. With us today are three presenters, and I will request them to introduce themselves and make their presentation in just a few minutes. I have some housekeeping items for you. You can see the schedule that was placed for you guys to write down what future topics are going to be. If you have any questions about that, let me know. I would also like everyone to stay on mute. We will allow you to unmute at the very end if you are unable to provide us with your questions in writing in chat. We'll save some time at the very end for that. If you have questions that are not related to today's topic, please email orientation@csum.edu. I will put that in chat in a few minutes. I will also include my phone number in case you need to reach out to me, so you have it accessible. When you're putting information or your question in chat, please do not include any private information. We are posting the recordings for this, and we would not want anything specific out there in cyberspace. If you think of anything related to today's topic, after we've ended the call, please, again, feel free to reach out to me and I will field those questions for our presenters. Again, orientation@csum.edu. If there's time at the very end, and if there are questions about what to expect on the 31st when you're here on campus, I'd be happy to cover that as well. With that, it is my pleasure to invite our experts to introduce themselves and begin their presentation. I will popcorn over to Katie to get started.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Hansen, and I'm one of the university advisors here along with Crystal Loera. So we are the university advisors. Every student who comes to Cal Maritime gets assigned a faculty advisor, and they are the expert in every student's major. So they're going to be the experts for our engineers, marine transportation, oceanography, business, global studies. And they're definitely great at talking about their future careers and what their classes like. I'm not really going to be the best at explaining how to make calculus work, but we definitely are the university advisors to go over more holistically resources and how to make a schedule and path for graduation and resources such as time management and connecting them with other departments on campus, just to ensure that they know where they're going. We always tell students, we'll answer every question if we can, and if we can't answer it, we will find the right person to answer it for you. So we just make sure that we're always knowing what's going on around campus and helping with that. I think I can share. Oh, Vanita, can you enable screen sharing if you don't mind?
I certainly will let you do that. Give me 1 second.
No problem. So
try it now, Katie.
Yeah, no problem. And this is just a quick snapshot of like, we help students with policies, like I said, campus resources. We work very closely with faculty and faculty advisors to make sure students stay on track and are taking the correct classes. And we also help, like I said, with some of those skills, work closely with tutoring, which Matt will talk about, but we are happy to help anytime. So you're welcome to contact us at advisor@csum.edu. And then we also have a website. And so if you search university advising on our website, we've put together some announcements, important dates, You'll find your academic calendar here, which is great. You'll have important dates like when classes start. You'll also have like the first 2 weeks is add drops. So students can make changes to their schedule. They can drop classes, they can add classes, they can switch their schedule around, and we're happy to help with that. And then kind of just more about who we are. We also have a page called Advising FAQs. So you can go into here, it has tons of different information, like how to be successful, how do I register, how do I get a tutor, what happens if I fail a course, what's academic probation. So we just really try to help be there for your students and make sure that they're comfortable asking questions, and they can make appointments with Crystal and I anytime. And Crystal's going to talk more about that feature. So I'm going to pass it over to her.
Awesome. Thanks, Katie. I am the other university advisor. And like Katie said, we're not assigned to any one student. We help all students. So we're always available. We're available in a bunch of different modalities. So if a student wants to give us a phone call, if they want to meet in person, if they want to make a later appointment through Zoom, we're available. And I'll show you guys how they can kind of do that. Katie and I were kind of thinking, what would we want parents to know to kind of reinforce with their kids when they get to campus to help them support them in their academic journey while at Cal Maritime. And we have this thing called the Passport and Passport Navigate, and it's a student app that sort of ties all of the resources together for students. So like Katie said, we're sort of the liaisons between students and how they're doing in their classes and getting them to resources for like health center or tutoring. And so Katie and I sort of specialize in connecting students to resources. So I will share my screen and give you guys sort of a glimpse of one of our major like student resource tools that we kind of have out there. So like Katie was saying, on our university advising webpage, there's this area called the Passport. So the app is called Passport Navigate for Students. It's the app designed just for students. So only they can log in with their student credentials. They can use it in, download it on their phone for free, or there's a desktop mode too. And it's super helpful. A couple of the things, really essential but functions and features that this app has is it tracks important dates and deadlines. It has a resource guide in it, and I can actually give you a quick glimpse of that. And it helps students connect with other students via this feature called Study Buddies. Hold on one second. I have 2 small dogs at home, and they're excited that their dad is home. So let me get you a quick screenshot into what the Passport Navigate can do. So this is a student profile. And if I were a student and I logged into the app, I could see any upcoming to-dos for the day. So I don't have anything to do today, but in the future, I can see some important deadlines. So we have our academic calendar in here. I know when the first day of campus or classes are. I know when the last day to add and drop classes is. I know when the last day to drop a class with a W is. So this is really helpful to keep students on track for important deadlines. They can also make appointments with different departments in here. So they can see their upcoming appointments. They can schedule an appointment with different departments on campus, and Katie and I can be found in here. They also have this really awesome area called resources, and it's all of our campus resources kind of in one place. So if they're looking for academic support, if they're looking for campus services, if they're looking for career planning, Corps of Cadets questions, health and wellness, etc. So I really wanted to highlight that for you guys, just because I think that's a hurdle for our students, right? They get here and then they don't know where to go for help. And so Katie and I are a great place to start. The app is amazing, and it can really point them in the right direction too. So that's my plug, my spiel. Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to pass it over to Matt.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Matthew Tenner, and I am the coordinator of academic preparation and support. I work very closely with both Katie and Crystal out of the C Center, and my specific role is to coordinate tutoring and supplemental instruction for the campus. And may I please also get share screen permission, because I have in the chat, I'm sharing the Tutoring Services URL, and we can follow along there as well. And let's see if I have that ability. All right, I hope everybody can see. Thumbs up if you can. All right, great. 2 thumbs up. Thank you, Crystal. All right, so this is the Tutoring Services webpage, and this is kind of your one-stop shop for any information that you're going to need about tutoring services. Everything is peer supported, so that means that if you are seeking tutoring appointments, you're going to be receiving support directly from a peer cadet who has already met certain criteria for supporting others. They will have already passed the courses in the following subjects that you can see on the screen there, anything from business administration all the way to writing and everything in between, and any related coursework. They will have already passed with a B+ or better grade. They will have received high recommendations from their faculty members, and they will have been personally interviewed and trained by the coordinator. So a question that I get a lot is, how much does tutoring cost? And it is actually embedded in the tuition that students pay just as part of their experience here. And so they don't have to pay anything additional, but it's really available pretty much whenever students need it. We used to meet in the C's Center, as kind of the central hub for tutoring on campus. But we learned a lot from working remotely, and for the foreseeable future, we're actually going to be offering, and as we return to campus, we're going to be offering more than just in-center help. We are also going to be offering virtual appointments and embedded tutors and supplemental instruction leaders in various courses. So beyond this, we have simple instructions to actually schedule appointments through the Passport itself, whether you are using a mobile app or if you're using the desktop version. And again, these are just really simple instructions once you've logged in as a cadet to the Passport. Simple links, just follow these simple steps, and you can get an appointment with a capable tutor at relatively any time. So we're not bound by in-center, in-person hours. As long as you meet, if you want to meet in person, you can meet at any convenient location on campus that's mutually convenient to the tutor and to the cadet, or you can meet virtually. And if you want to meet in the morning, you can. If you want to meet at night and it's appropriate, sure, you can do any of those things. And especially if you're a cadet who lives off campus or on the ship, and it may not be convenient for you to get back down to central campus, you can do it right from your res hall or from your on-ship housing. So beyond that too, supplemental instruction. So what is that? I've mentioned that a couple times now. So for select lower division courses that have historically high difficulty, and this is oftentimes in our engineering programs, any courses that are considered like bottleneck courses, you will need to pass these in order to progress in your major. But again, we have high Ds, Fs, and withdrawals, in these courses, but we want our students to be successful. These are specially trained peer leaders who will actually sit in the classes that they've already passed. They'll work in close collaboration with the faculty that they're assigned to provide some in-class support, but regular group study sessions at certain times throughout the semester. And those students who participate in SI in those courses, SI won't necessarily be available for every subject, but this is really for those courses that have those high difficulty, high failure rates, typically, because we're trying to correct that. The students who participate in this typically score better and demonstrate greater comprehension by the end of the semester than those who don't participate. So if your student is in a supported course, I strongly recommend that they participate. It's voluntary. They won't be coerced, with a bad grade. They won't be enticed with extra credit, but they will be strongly encouraged to participate. We also have the embedded tutoring, which is similar to SI, but we don't have regular study sessions. These are tutors who don't make themselves available for appointments, but they will actually come to the courses, usually lab courses, and support students in lab. We have all kinds of tutoring available. This is just some helpful information for the writing tutors. But as your cadets progress and as they become better versed in their subject areas, we also welcome them to apply as tutors and also future SI leaders. And it's not just a matter of academic support, but also good modeling for study habits, being able to request support, being able to ask questions of faculty. That a lot of first-year students have difficulty with that. And so you get your academic support and some positive modeling. So that is it for me. And I'm not sure who to hand it off to. I'm going to say Siobhan because she just popped in.
Hi, everyone. I'm Siobhan Case. I manage the services for students with disabilities. And I believe Vanita has my stuff. Let me change my view. Is it coming? There it is. You can go to the next screen, Vanita. So basically, every student at this level must advocate for themselves and self-identify to our program. It's not a matter of just submitting documentation, but you will go through the whole intake process. And I'm excited to say that my new software is in effect, which means if you go to my webpage, on the very first few lines, you're going to see two areas. There's the portal for students to apply and access services, and also the tab for professors to also access services. So that means 24/7 students can upload their documentation, identify accommodations they need, identify testing that they need to have done. And that's in conjunction with the professors. So all of that is now available 24/7. It literally just launched today. So I'm very excited about it. And if there's any problems, please feel free to contact me. Each semester, the student will now, they're still requesting the accommodations, but now that can also be done virtually through the software. It doesn't require having to be in an office in the hours between 8 and 5, which is wonderful. So can we go to the next slide, please? I think this is really important to note. The accommodations go through my office aren't just academic. So academic is going to be traditional non-distraction testing, maybe extra time, use of recorders or note taking. But there's other accommodations that students need on campus as well. That could be housing, that can be dietary, including food allergies, any uniform modifications, especially due to injuries. If somebody breaks a leg, God forbid, or an arm or anything else, then we can work with them on adjusting their uniform during that time that they're healing. And there's also the medical injury and illness accommodations, which I think is very important. Students are gonna, for instance, get sick, and maybe they need to miss classes for a week. I work really closely with Crystal and Katie to make sure if I have that documentation, we're coordinating with the faculty as well to make sure that the student is not going to suffer any consequences for being out for their amount of time. So that's a really important accommodation, especially since we're coming up with flu season. Next slide, please. I want to go over the difference between in high school versus post-secondary institutions. It's really critical to note that we are not required to waive or reduce any of the essential requirements of a course or program. That means all students are required to perform all of the work that's required for the program. The learning outcomes are the same for everyone. We do not conduct any testing or assessments for learning disabilities here. We do not provide personal assistance. We do not provide personal or private tutoring, although Matt has been able to pull off some private tutoring at times, but it's not a guaranteed thing. And we do not prepare any IEPs. Actually, that is something you provide to Access Services, but it is not something we develop. I do assist students in developing plans for success. Again, I'll work closely with Katie and Crystal, and maybe if the student is experiencing problems with keeping up or poor grades or poor testing, since most of our students have an average of 18 to 22 units, maybe we're going to talk about reducing their course load. That could be a huge help to students, where if we take 1 or 2 classes away, it still allows them to be successful in the classes that they are keeping. Next slide, please. Recommendations. This might be a little too late. I'm not sure. If you need documentation, please contact the high school or educational facility that has that current documentation, because students are going to need it, not only for me and using it here at Cal Maritime, but if they have any sort of testing that they want to take later on for professional exams and such, and if they need extra time, that's documentation they're going to need for that as well. So I would suggest that you would get copies of all of that, whether you use it or not. And if you have any confidential questions, you can feel free to email me, you can call my office, and we can coordinate a time to meet and discuss your students' individual needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Siobhan, Matt, Katie, and Crystal for your presentation. I'm going to open it up for questions. And let's see what's in chat. I don't see any questions in chat, but they will hopefully start to pop up. In the meantime, I will make a plug for, we are really behind on getting photographs of your student to create their port passes, and any help that you can provide as parents to urge them to upload their photo at this link, that would be most helpful. As a parent, you can do it. You cannot do it for them. They have to actually use their credentials and be logged into our system in order to access that form where the upload must happen. So just kind of invite them on our behalf to do that. Thank you in advance for helping us. First question popping up is, what are math classes for freshman global studies students, cadets?
I can take that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So actually, Katie, if you want to grab that link and put it in the chat, I am going to show you guys where you can find some curriculum roadmaps, and it's sort of a advising guidelines and courses for your students. So we're finishing uploading them in the next couple of weeks. But if you were to go onto our Cal Maritime website and type in curriculum roadmaps, or even go to the office of the registrar and click on curriculum roadmaps, these are the classes that your students will be taking in the different majors. So if I'm a GSMA student entering 2021, I would go ahead and click on this curriculum sheet, and I can see all the classes that I'm going to be required to take in the 4 years here at Cal Maritime. If your student is a transfer student, they might have already taken some of these, and they can work with me and Katie to figure out what have they already taken, what do they have remaining. They've got some really cool tools in their PeopleSoft Student Center that helps them identify what's remaining, and we can come up with grad plans. But I can see all of the classes required to get my Global Studies and Maritime Affairs degree here at Cal Maritime. And if I were to look, I think it's safe to say everything that's math is got a prefix of MTH. So college algebra is one of the requirements. Elementary statistics is the other requirement for our GSMA majors. And again, students who are transfers, they might transfer in an equivalent course of college algebra or another sort of algebra class around those lines, and then statistics. So 2 for those. And every major has different math requirements.
Thank you, Crystal. Next question
And
is.
Oh, I read the question. Sorry.
Ah.
Yes, there will be an MT roadmap along with the engineering roadmaps uploaded soon. They're just making a few finalizations. There were some changes in the curriculums this past year. So those are getting updated and should be online in the next few weeks. By next week.
Thank you. Well, you guys must have covered everything that was out there because I'm not seeing a lot of questions. I hope all the parents who are with us today are also following updates on our Facebook page. And if you have not already joined the group, I'm also including that link for you to send me a request to join. You have to include your cadet's name and their major in order to get accepted into the group. It's interesting to be part of it. Some parents shares information that can be helpful to each other. And also I put a lot of updates there of what's happening on campus, and especially with stuff coming up in just a couple of weeks, just over 2 weeks. Still no questions. I have one other link I'd love to share. And this is the link that is open to your cadets to share with us information, contact information for their family, parents, and often they do not complete it. So if you would like to provide that, your cadet to provide that information to us, again, please remind them to fill out the form at this link so we have you in our database and can communicate with you via email. So once the semester kicks off, I send out newsletters during the semester, and we use your email contact information to send that out. So in case you're interested in that, please remind them to fill out the form. I have a question. Where can I find the list of college supplies needed by cadets? Anyone?
So I will say, I believe there is a newsletter going out this week that's going to have like what to bring to college list. So that should definitely be really helpful. And then I would say we have our bookstore to buy books. I'm not sure specifically, but the what to bring will be really nice because it should probably also give you an idea of what you'll get in your room. You can definitely reach out to housing@csum.com if you have questions about like what is in each room, like microwave, fridge, all those questions we asked when we went to college. So I would definitely check out that newsletter that's coming out this week.
And that list is also available on our website. If you just type in what to bring, it pops up that list and you can review that. In terms of academic supplies and books, it's best, as Katie and Crystal would tell you, to go to class, figure out what your faculty's requirements are and make those purchases. Again, the bookstore is available, and any other resources that you typically use to get books. I'm sorry if you covered this. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have a preference for over a MacBook versus a Microsoft Service Pro? Any comments on that?
Students have lots of different devices. I think it's a preference thing. So probably what you're most comfortable with using, but you're more than welcome to reach out to a chair. Steve Brown is the chair of the IBL program, and the MT program. And you could definitely ask him if you wanted to get more detail about business classes.
Thank you. Next question is, if a student took, say, PreCalc or AP English, are they still required to take equivalent or equivalent classes in their major, or can they move on to the next level?
I'm gonna say that's dependent on your major and the classes you're taking. There is a difference between taking an AP class and taking the AP test. The AP test and passing with a certain score can give you college credit. And if we have named that in our catalog that's online, Crystal, would you mind posting the link to the catalog? I'm not sure if the new catalog's up, but we still should have AP scores from the previous catalog. It'll tell you what AP scores are equivalent to certain classes for us. And so that way you may know, oh, they do have an AP score that meets this class for their major. I've had a lot of questions recently from incoming students saying, hey, for example, I took college algebra, but I've been put in Math 100 and I'm a marine transportation student. And I've told the student, well, our Math 100 is actually algebra and trigonometry. So you need the trigonometry part for your future classes. So it depends on the major and it depends on what AP or pre-calc course it's equivalent to. But you are more than welcome to, if you have a specific question like that, you can reach out to advisor at CSUM and we can try to look at that for you, or registrar. They can always look at that as well.
Can students download Passport before they arrive on campus?
Yes, they have access to it now. They won't, the only thing I should say is you won't see your class schedule until the first day of class. So if you click on the class schedule link, it won't pop up, but you can absolutely get access to resources. You can make appointments with Crystal and I right now if you have any questions. So you are more than welcome to download that, explore to your heart's content.
Is bookstore the only place to purchase books?
No, they're gonna definitely be the ones dedicated to your class. I will say, I'm not. You would have to find out the numbers and look for them elsewhere, but you could buy them elsewhere. I will say there's probably very specific books for some things like our specialized like marine transportation program, so those might be hard to find anywhere else. But I believe you can pull up the books on our online bookstore and take a look at them.
Katie, do you want to talk a little bit about what some faculty do with books available for free out there? Are there some non-paid options?
We do actually have some classes now that offer books online, and they don't cost the student anything in some cases. So I would definitely find out, go to class, look at your syllabus, see what's required. The instructor is going to help figure that out for you. They're going to review the syllabus, the materials. I wouldn't worry so much about showing up the first day with all your books. It's a chance to talk to your instructor and see what options there are for purchasing those.
The next question is, are textbooks going to be provided? I don't believe there are any classes that come with books included, correct? Not that we know of. How are the faculty prepared for oceanography since it's such a new major? That would be a great question to ask the deans and the leadership, including the provost, at the end of the month. So I'll save that question for a later time. They'd probably be the best people to address it. Next question is, who should be contacted about class schedules?
I can take this. So new incoming students have been scheduled by our Office of the Registrar. They're still making some final tweaks. So a lot of our transfer students are still getting their classes. Once we're all done with scheduling students, you guys will, not you guys, I guess the students will receive communication about when they can add and drop classes. So the first 2 weeks of every semester, students can add classes, drop classes. They can come see me and Katie or make an appointment, and we can help them if they want to switch anything around. We always highly recommend, confirming with an advisor, whether it's one of us or their faculty advisor, before dropping a class in case it's a critical path course. A lot of the maths are critical path and they need to get them done to proceed into their future classes. So come see us about your class schedules. And you'll be getting communication about if and when we're opening it up again before school starts.
Thank you, Crystal. Harvey, that question is not random at all. We get asked that all the time. Your cadet can receive Amazon or other packages here. The address is not 200 Maritime Academy Drive. It's going to be One More Cove. Each student will be allocated a mail box number. That'll happen after they have moved onto campus in about a week, and we know that they're staying in the room that has been assigned to them. Once that time has passed, they will be provided with a mailbox number, and once they have that, they can share that with you or begin their Amazon journey and get their items shipped here. So that's a really good question, in fact. Thank you for asking. All right. For those of you who may have been driving and not able to type in your questions, this is a good time for you to unmute and ask your question verbally if that's comfortable for you. Have room assignments been made? Yes. So room assignment, roommate name, your move-in time, as well as your swim assessment time. All of that information in one email was sent to your cadet on August 5th. I'm talking about April again, all day. August 5th, and it was sent to their CSUM email address. So if they haven't checked, that's a good place to start. We also followed up with a brief email to their personal email address, if it was known to us, letting them know that all that information has been sent to their CSUM address. So they should know about it, and you can check with them on what they know. Next question is, can parents who are local come visit on the weekend, or is the campus closed? It's not closed. If you're local and your cadet has the bandwidth to see you, then please do schedule with them. Just be mindful that our cadets have a very busy schedule, and we wouldn't want you to get in the way of whatever it is that they are trying to accomplish. So be mindful of their schedule and their obligation outside the classroom. But yes, the campus is open for you to come visit and enjoy the waterfront if you're local. Looking ahead to Thanksgiving, if our cadet won't be able to come home, are there Turkey Day celebrations? There are. We have a wonderful commandant who invites the students who are staying behind to his home. He lives on campus. His name is David. He was part of the call on Tuesday. Him and his family, his wife and his son, invite the cadets to participate. The campus orders a full turkey meal for the cadets, and they can be together so that they're not hiding in their room alone. So don't worry about that. Regarding the first day, August 31, shall parents plan on spending the day? I recall that there are some activities in the afternoon. There sure are. If your schedule allows, please plan to be here for the whole day. Depending on when you arrive, you will have an opportunity to meet a lot of people from campus who provide services to our cadets and to you. We have a campus fair scheduled for you in our Physical Education and Aquatic Center building. It's called PreCalc, and we'll have about 20 to 30 people, tables for you to interact with. And then in the afternoon, we have the president who's going to welcome you to the Keelhauler family. And then after that, we have a capping ceremony where your cadet moves on to the quad, and there are some specific instructions given to your cadet, like they would be every Monday and Wednesday moving forward. And then you as a parent or a family member can cap them. And it's a really sweet ceremony that you will remember for a long time to come. That happens at 4:30. 4:15, and after that you'll have the chance to take your student out to dinner on your own. If you're not able to be here or not able to stay that late, we will take care of your cadet. That's not a problem at all. How do watch hours work? That was our conversation on Tuesday. If you wouldn't mind going to the recorded session from Tuesday, and that's available on the Keelhauler family page at csum.edu. That'll give you all the details. It's not too much, but it's a few layers of complexity. So you'll get the answers from the commandants posted online. Any questions about the 31st, which is your move-in day? All right, June says, my cadet assigned check-in is 7 a.m. and swim test at 8. Can local parents leave campus and come back? Of course, yes. June, please feel free to work with whatever your schedule can allow. You can leave and come back, most certainly. Is there an agenda on the website for the 31st? Not a detailed one, but yes, there is, with those big time frames, 7 to 2 being move-in, check-in, swim assessment, and then a reception for the parents, and then the welcome session, and then the capping ceremony. What local stores are nearby? Target is not far from us. And just so you know, on Monday between 5 and 7, we'll have shuttles that'll take your student to Target in case they realize they forgot something or need something last minute. So Target is not too far. It's not biking distance. They would have to Uber or have a friend who can drive them there. Buses are, there is public transportation, but not very convenient, so to speak. Grocery stores also, you will need to have a car or you'll have to Uber there. Our new marketplace model is really cool that way. Any grocery items that are for eating will be available. Most of them will be available at the marketplace. So that whole model is going to be very helpful with that grocery store trip situation. Should new cadets bring bikes? Please, yes, we have bike stands all over the place. It would be great if they have bikes, but again, there isn't, depending on your students' endurance, and there's not anything really close by that they can get to on their bikes. But across campus and biking on Mare Island or for recreation, of course, that would be great. My son's swim assessment is at 7. Yes, we had to start at 7 and it goes till 2, and we still couldn't accommodate all 300 students. So some students have their swim assessment at other times on days that follow. I am assuming face coverings will be required for cadets for a bit. Are there face covering guidelines? So hang in there. We will have our health and safety folks on a future call, and they will cover things like that. There is no required color, or we haven't really made it known that you should wear a specific type of face covering. We're focusing on the fact that you are wearing a face covering when needed. All the details for that have been shared online and provided to your cadet, and we will have health and safety to answer any questions. So hold on to those if I didn't answer it. Do swim assessments happen throughout the week or only on August 31st? Aaron, most of them will have been on the 31st, but there are some that we will we've spread across the week. Plus we have one day where we will do some makeup. So if a cadet didn't quite pass everything and they want another try, then they can, we have a makeup day. So yeah, it's happening throughout the week, but very few. What percentage of cadets pass? Almost all of them. So if they are going for an assessment, almost all pass. There'll be some makeup opportunities later. I couldn't tell you the exact percentage. I'm sorry. Do I require a COVID-19 test prior to orientation? Dennis, you per se, as a parent, I don't believe you need that, but your student obviously has to have their COVID vaccination, and that has to be provided to the health center. And if they are not vaccinated, there's a process, and your cadet's been informed about that process. I would have a mask available, nice and close and handy, Dennis, for the day. Thank you, Crystal, for sharing the swim assessment information. I think swim assessments are going to take about 25 minutes per student. So there'll be 9 students who are gonna test at the same time, and it's going to take 25 minutes for each group to move along. So if you're trying to look at your schedule and wondering how long your student might be with the swim assessment, it's about 25 minutes. Another question that I've been asked the last few times is, can parents visit the cadet's room? And the answer is yes, time permitting. When you arrive for move-in, you're going to not be able to go into the room at that time. We're just going to let the student go in, put their belongings in, and maybe get into their PT gear, but that's about it. There will be other windows of time during the day that you can figure out checking out the room if you want to with your student. What is the gender ratio for the incoming class? I don't know. At one point I'd heard 20%, but I don't know what the current
I think
breakdown.
students are still finalizing. I don't think we'll have a clear, solid ratios until school starts and everybody's on campus.
You want to take that, Crystal? Do cadets go on cruise every summer?
Yeah, good question. Check out your students' curriculum roadmap. Our licensed track students and some of our non-licensed students go on cruise. Some of them go all 3 summers. Some of them just go 1 summer. Our global studies, our international business, and our oceanography students, they do global experiences. So they go abroad for about 3 weeks. And they do a global experience where they focus on some student learning outcomes around their major, like visiting a supply chain in Japan, or learning more about security in different areas if they're doing national security and stuff. So check out your roadmaps, because that's a great question. All of our students do have at least 2 summers, I think, where they're required to take either an internship or some sort of global experience or cruise. So check out the roadmaps for sure.
I'm trying to think of any other pieces of information that might be helpful with regard to orientation week. So it's going to be our longest orientation ever. It's going to start on the 31st and it goes all through the 6th. We have lots of activities planned for the incoming class. There was our IBL and GSMA students were 100% virtual last year. They never came to campus. So we have planned a simultaneous orientation for them for 5 days. So they will be kind of they might be mingling with the freshmen, but there's 2 tracks of orientations going on for both parties or both populations, and that's been really exciting. They come in on the 2nd of September. These Zoom meetings are so helpful. Our pleasure. Cadets want to change their major. When can they do it? Yeah, that's for Katie and Crystal.
So it depends. If it is an impacted major, marine transportation or any of our engineering majors, students need to apply by November 30th. We only accept them once a year, and then they would have a decision by the next February that it would apply to the next fall. So that's only once a year for impacted majors. For non-impacted majors, they can apply, and we ask that all paperwork be submitted before the first day of the term for which they want to change majors. So it just depends on the major you're looking at.
Thank you, Katie. We're coming up to our hour, and as excited as we are for being in person and being on campus and going to class and the college experience, I just want to throw out there that if you and when you get a chance to talk to your student, your cadet, about the year that we've just had, which was very difficult at so many levels, and it was isolating for a lot of us, especially students who missed out on their last year of high school. There was so much growth that we might have missed out on because we were not with our peers for that whole year. And I've been at home, and now all of a sudden there is this freedom, and they're away from home in a res hall with new friends. Just help them be mindful of their risk-taking and exploration, that they understand their boundaries, they understand their limits, and that they take calculated risks and explore in a manner that's not going to be harmful in any way to themselves or to their shipmates, their peers. All campuses are really cautioning parents to have that conversation with your students. So be mindful and help them become aware that they might want to be careful when they find themselves on the campus with so much to do and so much to explore and so much freedom. Just wanted to share that with the parents. Question, does impacted mean highly subscribed?
So impacted means that we actually have more applications and more students that want to go into that program than we actually have space for, due to limitation, like beds on the ship, and our simulators are smaller. So we only have so much room for so many students in those classrooms. So that's why, yeah, it's once a year, and it's also competitive because we have to look at every student, and we have to look at GPAs and make sure everyone has the same opportunity to apply to it.
So June, that's a very difficult question that you're posing out there. Nobody has the answer to that. Like I said, later this month, you'll have access to a few folks who are intimately involved with long-range planning and health and safety. And they are the ones who are keeping an eye on CDC and other things that will help the campus make a decision with the primary focus on student safety. So it's TBD. Let's hope that our campus can stay open, because we have some required in-person classes that must go on, which is why we were open last fall and spring to push forward the educational mission. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. We will always make decisions based on safety. So TBD, I don't think there's a real answer there, but health and safety will be with us later this month. All right, if there's nothing else, I think everybody can take a few minutes back in their time bank, and we look forward to seeing all of you and more next week. If everyone can take themselves off mute and give our presenters a warm thank you, that would be wonderful. I'll start with a clap. Thank you, Katie, Crystal, Siobhan, and Matt for being here today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I will see you on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks, you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.